Hello, my name is Jim Sauser. I'm one of the sailing instructors here at Columbia Sailing School. Along with Kurt Thompson, the on-the-water director, and Tristan Loescher, the adult sailing director, welcome. Columbia Yacht Club has been a fixture on Chicago's waterfront since 1892. The club and its members have played an important role both in Chicago's history and in the sport of sailing. All of the courses here at Columbia try to maximize time on the water. So we hope this video will answer some of your questions and give you some information so that when your class begins, we can spend the maximum amount of time on the water. Let's start with how to get to Columbia Yacht Club and Columbia Sailing School. Columbia Yacht Club is easy to spot, but sometimes tricky to find. We are at the east end of Lower Randolph Street on the lakefront at the north end of Monroe Harbor. She is blue and white and by far the biggest ship in Chicago. You will board Abby on the first gangway entering through the forward door. If the door is locked, push the call button and say Sailing School. Columbia's home has been the Abby since 1984. She's a former icebreaker and car ferry from Prince Edward Island, Canada. She had a full career before she was purchased and moved here. People from that area still remember her and come to see her. And she has her own Wikipedia page. Be aware, special events that occur periodically during the summer can make it difficult to get to the club, no matter how you plan to travel here. Bike the Drive, Lollapalooza, Blues Fest, Taste of Chicago, and Chicago Triathlon, just to name a few, will impact your travel time. Classes will run regardless of weather, so plan on coming to the class even if the weather does not look good. Rest assured, we will not sail in conditions that are unsafe or needlessly uncomfortable. We can always do classwork if we do lose time on the water. It is rare that we don't sail at all during a class session. Like most adventure activities, we do need to be prepared for a range of conditions. No matter which of our programs you signed up for, here are some tips about what to wear and bring to that first class. Let's start at the top. Hot, cold, or mild, you should have a hat. A hat keeps your head warm when it's cold and cool when it's hot. Because we do like to sail when it's windy, it is best to have a leash on your hat. Here's a hat with a little bit more of a brim, a little bit more sun protection for us, but same thing, we have a leash. Next is sunglasses. Always bring a good pair of sunglasses. They should fit snugly. The sun on the lake can be intense. Even if you are signed up for evening classes, bring your sunglasses. At the end of class, we will be sailing directly into sunset. We also strongly recommend sunscreen. Let's talk about what to wear to the first class. Most of us participate in other outdoor activities, and for the purpose of this class, many of those pieces of clothing will work just fine. Starting with a base layer, wear something that you'll be comfortable in if it's hot, but that you'll be able to stack layers on if it gets cool. Have a warmth layer. Something with high loft and synthetic material. Cotton is usually not appropriate for any wet sport because cotton will make you cold. But something like this, or something like the jacket I'm wearing, would be a good thing to have. The last layer is a splash or spray layer. Something like this jacket here. Again, it is not really truly waterproof, but it is water resistant, so will keep the spray off of me. Perfect for day sailing. It's very light, fits in a bag easily, and isn't too hot when I put it on. Sailors you may have heard about foul weather gear. Sailors talk about foul weather gear. Just for the purposes of this class, foul weather gear is not necessary. We will not be sailing in those conditions. But here's an idea of foul weather gear. Usually a bib overhaul type pants, fairly water resistant or waterproof, and very warm. And then a lined jacket, again with soleless patches for visibility, and again kind of warm. I would wear it at night on a boat, but usually during the day I don't wear my foul weather gear that often. Bags. Let's talk about bags quickly. A good bag to bring your gear to thing is anything with a zipper. This happens to be a backpack. I have a more traditional sea bag here, but a more traditional sea bag will be fine. Again, zipper it up so when we pass between dock and boat, when we pass things around, we don't lose our gear. Shoes and gloves. So shoes are required. There are many hard and sharp fittings on the boat. Wear a pair of shoes that you think will protect your feet and provide grip on the deck. One thing they do need to be is clean. So wear a different pair of shoes down to the class, and we will change into our sailing shoes on the dock. Dirt and mud on the deck are hard to clean and will make the deck slippery, and it's best to change into shoes when we get there. Keep in mind too that we sit where we walk, so it's another important reason to keep the deck clean, is because we'll be sitting on the deck. Gloves. So these are sailing gloves. They have an amount of padding here to protect my hand, and the fingers are a certain length to protect my fingers. But sailing gloves are not required for this class. So you don't need sailing gloves for this class. It is something that people usually buy early in their sailing career, but it's best to wait till after the first class anyway to buy any equipment, so that you get a little bit of insight into what might be a good feature, or what you need, or maybe what you don't need. Always bring more than you think you'll need. It's better to leave it in your bag than to not have it. Personal flotation devices. We will have PFDs available for you during class. You do not need to buy one. We are required to wear them when we are on the boat. If you own a PFD, then bring it with you. Depending upon the course you signed up for, you probably received a basic keelboat book, a logbook, and a length of line. Try to bring the book, logbook, and line to the class sessions. If your course did not include these things, you might consider acquiring them. They will be available at the Whitecap. For those of you who signed up for Basic Keelboat, we hope to spend as much time on the water as possible. We plan to spend 80% of the time on the water and 20% of the time in the classroom. If the weather is favorable, we may spend even more time on the lake. If the weather is bad, we will try to get ahead on classwork so we can sail when the weather improves. Classes are only rarely canceled and never canceled in advance. Please get to the classroom 10 to 15 minutes prior to the class start time. If the weather is fair, we want to get on the water quickly. We will meet in the classroom and brief on the day's activities as needed, then head out to the boats. There are many facets to safely operating a boat on open water. The main purpose of this course is to provide an environment that you can start the process of learning the theory of sailing and experience the skills you'll have to master to become a confident and safe sailor. The book and the instructors are going to help you learn everything you need to get started in the sport of sailing. We will cover how sails work, parts of the boat, sailing terms, rules of the road, sailing trim, steering, and boat handling. If you do have the book, I would suggest that you read and review the first 15 pages before the first class. This will save us some time in the classroom and get us on the water sooner. Summary. The on-the-water test and the written test. The on-the-water test begins when we first step on the boat. During our time on the water, each student will start to learn or master the skills that are necessary to be a confident and safe skipper. It is very likely that the students in your class will have a wide range of experience, from never been on a sailboat to some who have already sailed and own boats. The classes naturally allow for each student to learn at their own rate. Sailing is a lifelong sport that will always present new challenges and goals for beginners and experts alike. Even if you have little or no experience, we are here to help you start to enjoy the sport of sailing safely and to give you the tools and knowledge to build on. If you are an experienced skipper, then challenge your instructor to help you gain a deeper understanding of sailing theory and sailing skills. A student should expect to be able to take a Colgate 26 out and operate it safely when conditions are appropriate. We do encourage students to continue to sail as skipper or crew after the course. We have several programs and classes to facilitate this, and we will discuss these more fully during class. Written test and certification. The written test is usually given on the last day of class. It is 80 questions, and the passing grade is 74%. All of the material needed to pass the test is in the book and presented during class. It covers parts of the boat, rules of the road, sail trim, and sailing theory. It is a fair test. Most students find it challenging, but not difficult. You will be emailed a link to the test when you arrive for the final class. Please do not open the link before the class. It is a timed test. Make sure you bring a charged phone or iPad to the class that day. We will do a review before the test, and you should feel confident if you have read the book and attended class. The on-the-water test is continuous, and you will have feedback throughout the course to help you acquire the skills you need. Columbia Sailing School and US Sailing's approach to sailing is not pass-fail. It is best described as plan of improvement. At the end of the course, we will sit down with you and help you plan how to continue your sailing adventure. On behalf of all the instructors and myself, we're looking forward to sailing with you this summer.